Alright, welcome to today's quick video. So, I've already gotten through the process on a couple of these, and I figured I'd show a quick video on how I do my weekly ball maintenance. So, we're going to do it with my Black Widow Mania. Basically what I do, typically about once a week, league morning, my league day or whatever, I like to get my balls out and really kind of clean them well. So, I personally like using my sink because of the, little rings at the bottom. They hold your ball pretty securely. So the way that I do this is basically I'll go ahead and plug this up, and I'll get my hot water going as hot as it'll get. And I like to fill it up and let it kind of pour over the ball as I fill this all the way up. That's going to help pull the oil out from the ball, and I do this pretty regularly, so I normally don't have a ton of oil. I bowl anywhere between probably 30 to 50 games a week, so this is pretty necessary for me to do. I haven't done any surface changes to any of my balls thus far. I've owned the Mania since it's come out, and as with my other balls, I haven't done any surface changes, but I do like to go through and typically clean my balls at least once a week, and this is how I do it. So I'll get this sink going here with as hot water as I can actually get, and I'm going to fill this all the way up and let it soak for probably about 10 to 15 minutes, at least until the water is cooled off. And once that's done, I'll show you guys the next step. Alright, so once I have the sink filled and it's soaked for a while, I still have this top part that sticks up, so what I'll do is I'll go through and kind of rotate it around a little bit. This is going to draw out some of the excess oil that's on there. Now what I like to use for the next step, and to each their own, but what I found that works really well for me, this is really just to get a lot of the dirt, grime, belt rubs, stuff like that off, is one of the blue Scotch-Brites. It's not abrasive as like green and red in Scotch-Brite pads, but it is pretty abrasive. It's non-scratching, but it works really well to get the belt rubs off. So the next step that I'll do is I like to use a little bit of Dawn. I'll put it on the center here, and while it's still sitting in this, pretty still hot water, I'll kind of start getting the top. And the bottom of this sink's going to kind of hold it in its place to where you can really kind of get in there and push, get a little elbow grease in there, start getting on there. It's okay if there's water in the holes, it doesn't affect the ball. It's not going to damage it or anything like that. This isn't a replacement to go into your local pro shop or, having your ball detoxified, where it stays in the little ovens and really draws it out. This is just something I do at home that you can do at home to kind of keep your balls clean, performing, consistently on the lanes. And I like to do this, like I said, probably, once a week. Typically I do it the day before or day of league. I try to get, all my equipment set and ready. Now once this has kind of had a little bit of scrub to it, I'll go ahead and drain this water out. Once this is drained out, the sink's going to hold the ball really well, but I like to go over it and really just kind of make sure that I get all the little, areas. You can see lane dirt and grime that just comes off of these balls. And once this is done, we're going to rinse it off and take it over to our rotating ball cup, and I will show you guys the next step that I do. Alright, now, last step that I do, bring it over to my rotating ball cup, and I like to look at it with an overhead light where I get a reflection, and I kind of rotate it around, see if I have any places that I might have missed, any belt rubs or scuff marks. I have an extra blue scrubby that I keep here for that. If I do, it's go over it real fast and kind of get those little spots. And then I use, just a ball cleaner. One I have is Pyramid Monster Tack ball cleaner. For now, I think it's probably about $7 or $8, but works really well. And we clean the ball. Kind of wipe it down. I do this probably, each time at the lanes. I use my ball cleaner to kind of do the mini maintenance. But this stuff works pretty well. It's pretty cheap. And you can see, comes out really nice. Kind of go through there, kind of get some good reflections. And that's just off of a basic clean at home. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave some comments, questions, anything you guys may have down there. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. And if you like it, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see y'all for the next one. Thanks.